Hello and welcome to our Spotlight videos where we discuss cutting-edge employment law issues in the news. I'm Tom Spiggle, founder of the Spiggle Law Firm, a firm that helps people who have been fired or afraid that they might be. And I am thrilled today to be joined by Ep12, who is an attorney in my office. And she has an interesting case that involves the old and the new. It's a space company that has a case filed against it, arguing there has been discrimination. So we've got 2023 and a statute from 1964. So good stuff. So go ahead, Evelyn, tell us what it's about.
Hi, everybody. So the case that I actually wanted to kind of talk about was, forgive me about the name. I am having a little bit hard time pronouncing it. It's Acierno. It's spelled Acierno versus iSpace Technologies US. It is a case that was filed in the District Court of Colorado, District Court of the District of Colorado. And basically, Mr. Acierno was the former iSpace Technologies CEO, and he was basically built himself up from an intern. He did phenomenally. He even got a $73 million contract for the company with NASA last year in July. And pretty soon after he got that huge contract with NASA, he was fired, and he claims that it was discrimination based. And it wasn't just kind of like the run-of-the-mill. I think there was real hardcore discrimination. He works closely with the CEO of this company, and the CEO blatantly told him that he didn't like working with people who were not Japanese. There was even a chat that was leaked that talked about how the Japanese workers would talk and say that they would prefer to work with Japanese people and not with other people because they weren't as trustworthy, and they would blatantly make kind of false claims and say that they were incompetent in a lot of different ways as well. And since the iSpace Technology is a company that is in the US, even though it's a foreign-based company, they are still subject to the US employment laws. Did you have something to say? Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, no, that's fascinating. Anything else you want to add about that?
And I just found it very fascinating to see that it's very blatant. I would have thought that these companies would be a little bit more kind of wary about the different things that they were saying, and for a CEO of the company to say that I prefer these type of people over just to discriminate so kind of so harshly.
Blatantly.
I don't know, so blatantly. I thought, yeah, so I thought it was kind of interesting to see something like that even in this day and age, since we're fighting about the nuances of different things and implicit biases and all of that, and to see such a high profile company to say blatantly I don't want to work with you because you're a white or whatever race, which I thought was fascinating.
Yeah, it's a great case, and I think a couple of great points that you raise. One, this is a national origin discrimination case, so it's important people to know that. I think people know generally you can't discriminate against somebody on the basis of race or on the basis of their sex. I think it's probably less well known that national origin discrimination is also illegal under Title VII, which is the big, as you know, the federal anti-discrimination law. And I think you're right. It is interesting, companies that just because they're foreign based, if they're doing business in the United States, they're covered by U.S. law. And sometimes they just don't get it. They just don't know. I remember we had a case against a company that was based in Australia, and same thing. I was a sex discrimination company, but they were just blatant. I just don't think they understood U.S. law. And a lot of these other countries don't have anti-discrimination laws like we do. So they were just, like you said, in this case, they just put it all out there in writing, that they didn't want to work with this woman. And so I think it's not uncommon to see that. And I think it's also good for people to know that this still happens in 2023. Not only from foreign companies that are based here, but people put stupid things in writing. When I wrote the book, my book, You're Pregnant, You're Fired, people were like, oh, does that still happen? I'm like, yeah, it still happens. People still put that stuff in writing, whether it's an email or a tweet or a social media post. people do dumb things. So fascinating case, and it's sort of like, did you watch Succession? Did you watch the show Succession? It's okay if you didn't.
I have not. I
Succession.
have not.
Yeah, hugely popular show, but it makes me think about the guy that wanted to buy Waystar, who in the end, spoiler alert, who in the end ultimately, I won't spoil it for you, who wants to buy Waystar is from another country, and I can't remember which one, but he eventually appoints a U.S. CEO to basically have assuage the fears of the politicos in the United States. Like, hey, I'm going to have a U.S. face on this, like, because he was buying a big U.S. media company. So that's an example of, people, companies will come in, they will hire U.S. based CEOs, and sometimes the mothership, they just don't understand U.S. laws. And I think this is one of those cases. So thanks for bringing this one up. It's a fascinating one. It's important for people to remember, blatant discrimination still happens. National origin discrimination is a thing. And if you do business in the United States, you're covered by our laws.
Yes.
Well, thank you,
exactly.
Evelyn. I appreciate it. And I will let you get on to the next thing on your desk.
Thank you so much. It was very nice to talk to you.